us today, this afternoon, and thank you everybody who has joined in today. In So we are total about 30, 35 of us, and more are just joining in. Uh, the industry is abuzz with this three-letter word, or what do I say? The new vehicle, the concept, the product. People have various connotations to it. SIF. And everybody is wondering, like, what are the prospects? What are we going to do with it going forward? अभी इंडस्ट्री एआईएफ से पूरी तरह से ठीक से ग्रिप लिया नहीं था, और अभी एक एसआईएफ आ गई, राइट? So lot of questions in the minds of people, Archit, and thank you for being with us, for joining in and clarifying some of these doubts. So let me just sort of kick off right away by simply asking you, what is the thought process? What is SIF, and what do you see as the future of SIF? Is it going to be like mutual funds, what it was 20 years ago? Is it going to be PMS and AIF, how it shaped up 10 years ago? Or is it going to be like bigger than everything combined?
Sure. So thanks, Alok, for inviting me, and pleasure to speak to the distributors across India on this new product, as Alok is mentioning. So yes, specialized investment fund, I would say, is a very good step by SEBI, because we need to give little freedom to HNI clients who are able to invest a high ticket size, who have a higher risk appetite, and this asset class is targeting them directly. So, we were just having a study with Motilal Oswal team that what is the current investment size and what population can grow who are investing more than 20 lakh rupees in their annual income into investment classes. So we are seeing that 2.3x growth we are seeing in HNIs who are having an average ticket size of more than 20 lakh rupees every year, investing in collective investment schemes or pooled investments like AIF, PMS, and mutual funds. Now, of course, 20 lakh ticket size is not a very big ticket size for a PMS or an AIF, right? So, SEBI has tried to target these HNI investors who are having a 10 lakh plus ticket size for one investment vehicle and can get the same benefits of an AIF strategy at the convenience of a mutual fund. So, Alok, since you asked me about how 10 years back the AIF industry started to grow, and I would say 30 years back, not 20 years back, 30 years back, how mutual funds started to grow, we are seeing that there will be a great demand in SIFs, because one thing is very clear that the per capita GDP of India has been consistently rising. It's now more than $11,000, and there needs to be an asset class which gives you the access to right strategies, which involves leverage. The best thing about this is that it also gives you access to international markets, because now SIF managers can use the specialized investment strategy to long short in derivatives across precious metals, agricultural products, equity, and international equities. So that benefit is where I feel is, it will allow diversification of HNI portfolios, and that I think is the future.
So, like on one side, when we say it's an HNI focused kind of a vehicle, then why 10 lakhs? Just out of curiosity.
No, that's a good question again. So, see, PMS minimum investment is 50 lakhs and AIF minimum investment is 1 crore, right? Now, there have been some HNI investors, even NRIs, who are saying that why can't I get the returns which a family office may get by investing in an AIF fund, right? In mutual fund, you can start by 500 rupees, but obviously the retail investors will not have a very high risk appetite. So if they are only given a vehicle like a mutual fund scheme to invest in a hybrid of equity and debt, then debt equity hybrid funds will also not be able to give you a return, which in long term will be surpassing your AIF funds or even PMS for that matter. So again, coming to the size of 10 lakhs, 10 lakhs is a reasonable size because it is below 50 lakhs, which is for PMS. Okay. Earlier the PMS ticket size was 25 lakhs. So I would say that the 10 lakh ticket size is kept into mind looking at the growth of the PMS industry also, like from 25 lakh to 50 lakhs, as the size went up, the PMS also kept on getting more capital from the HNI investors. This specifically is targeting for leverage within the mutual fund so that the mutual fund AMC can also reach out to other uh, NRIs, family offices, and HNIs across India.
Understood, Archit. Now it's getting more and more clearer in terms of the aim behind launching a different vehicle altogether. My question to you is, like, who is eligible to launch an SIF? Is it like everybody will be able to launch an SIF, or are there certain criteria? So, who's coming up with it first? As of now, no SIFs have been launched. So,
Yes.
so who's going to launch it first? What is your view?
So currently, as per SEBI, an AMC which is handling more than 10,000 crore in AUM will be directly eligible to launch their own SIF. And see, we don't call it as an SIF fund. Actually, SIF is a strategy for a mutual fund company, an AMC, which is having schemes for its mutual fund schemes. Okay, this will not be a scheme as such. It will be a strategy where even the current mutual fund schemes can be investing in this strategy using the SIF route. That is one important thing. So as I mentioned, first eligibility criteria is a, an AMC managing more than 10,000 crore of AUM. So of course, the what I'm hearing in the market is that your mutual funds like HDFC, ICICI, and even Nippon, the NAM India, has already appointed a CIO because the CIO has to be separately appointed for your SIF strategies and separately for your mutual fund schemes for retail investors. The same CIO will not be able to run both the strategies together. So that is one eligibility criteria. And it's good to see that three mutual fund companies are doing it proactively. Of course, I'm also hearing Edelweiss coming in shortly, and even your big AIF funds who are managing more than 10,000 crore, especially your Cat 3 AIF funds, like, if you ask me, Abacus Investments, then even big PMSs like uh, Saurav Mukherjee's PMS, Marcellus, they are also now on the verge of getting the mutual fund license so that they are eligible to launch their own SIFs, right? So the first route is the 10,000 crore AUM. The second route is that if you don't have a 10,000 crore AUM, then you can still launch your SIF strategy by appointing a manager who has at least 5 years of work experience handling 5,000 crore of AUM and a secondary manager who has an experience to manage 500 crore minimum AUM. So because of the second option, what I am seeing that your big PMS and AIFs will be more interested in launching the SIF schemes because they anyways have access to HNI clients. As you know, PMS and AIF ticket sizes are 50 lakhs and 1 crore respectively. So since these funds anyways have access to the HNI clients, they can also expand their offerings by having a lower ticket size with almost the same investment strategy. So that is one benefit. I
Got
hope,
it.
I hope you can all hear me clearly because someone just mentioned to increase the volume. So
I
I
can
hope,
hear you.
yeah, perfect.
I can hear you absolutely clear. Archit, my question is around certification. Obviously, having clarified what the vehicle is supposed to do and the potential of it, a lot of people, have already started to prepare for NISM 13. Am I right? That's the exam.
Correct.
So my question is, A, of course, on behalf of everybody, is it mandatory to definitely clear NISM 13? A, B, would there be other exams which also one would need to clear over a period of time? Or is it this one exam and that takes care of it?
No, so that's perfect. So to the first question, NISM 13 is mandatory for anyone who wants to distribute or sell the units of AMCs which are launching their SIF strategy, right? So obviously it's mandatory. And by the way, this requirement is over and above the 5A certification of mutual funds, right? Because you have, so SEBI has said that is assumed that you have a 5A certification, and over and above that, to distribute SIF, you will need to have the 13 certification as well. Okay, so apart from this 13 certification, I'm not seeing any other certification coming in the market. what I'm seeing is that, SEBI is trying to again, there are in talks to launch a certification for managers or the CIOs who will be managing the funds, the SIF strategies, like how we have for AIF managers. So they may also launch for the SIF managers as well. So that is something which will be in future. But currently, yes, it is mandatory to do 13 over and above the 5A. So in case you have a license in your wife's name or some other relative's name, then that same person will need to do the 13 exam in order to be eligible to distribute assets.
Got it.
And just to continue on that also, like, since we are also seeing the growth of AIF industry, SIF actually is, nothing but a convenient version of an AIF, because managers can take leverage and they can also do short selling in the equity markets, F&O contracts to the tune of 25% as well, right? So, what I suggest is, if you ask me about certifications, then if you are distributing SIF units, you will also be able to distribute AIF units in future, considering that your clients are HNI clients or family offices, etc. So I would recommend that in addition to this certification of 13, should also try to do the AIF category 3 certification as well, because as I said, cat 3 AIF strategies are almost same as your SIF strategies, right? So you'll be getting a much better opportunity to serve your clients as well.
And Archit, of course, is there any assistance being available at your end to help distributors clear the exam? If so, how do you go about it? What is the approach?
Yeah, so I'm happy to assist anyone wanting to get the 13 exam. I've been lucky to work with NISM's team as well to make content for the exams of AF. And, we are knowing how the internal processes are from SEBI's point of view to launch another exam as well. So, of course, we do mock tests also. We also have a 3-day program, because as I mentioned, having one-time effort given to prepare for SIF and the AIF CAT 3 exam would be a much better approach as compared to first doing your mutual fund, then SIF, then PMS, and then AIF. I believe in dedicating 2-3 days of your time and preparing for both the exams simultaneously. So in that way, what I've done is that we are happy to tie up with Alpa as well on this, GB2GB and Alok from the team, to have a physical program which we are now launching in the first weekend of June, right? And if you do the 3-day physical program, then you will be able to not only clear the SIF exam, that is the 13 series, but also be able to clear the 19B exam of NISM Category 3 AIF distributors. So we are clubbing it for the benefit of all the audience over there.
That's excellent, Archit. I think that's a double advantage, because that not only takes care of SIF, but also opens up one more opportunity for the distributors,
Correct.
given that cat 3 is also coming up in a big way. So just for everybody's knowledge, cat 2 AIF category is the biggest, and cat 3 is increasingly growing in size. Any thoughts, any views on that, Archit?
Yeah, sure. So category 3 AIFs, they are facing the hurdle of the taxation, the higher taxation in India. So we are seeing a lot of category 3 AIFs, which are generally doing leverage and investing in listed securities. They are launching their funds in GIFT City as well. And also, they are domiciling in other countries, although they are investing in India only. So when they raise money, they obviously approach distributors who are our audience in this webinar, and you will be able to serve them, because we are seeing a 27% CAGR growth in the last 3 years in the AUM of category 3 AIFs as well. Okay, this is more than the CAGR of mutual fund, which is 19% in the last 3 years, right? So obviously, if you ask me, category 3 AIFs are doing very well. SEBI is also becoming more and more lenient in terms of the limits or the investment concentrations that they have to adhere to. And to make it even more better, now the SIF strategy has also been announced, wherein you can follow the same strategies of a Cat 3 AIF with lower ticket sizes, with the same audience that we are targeting for a Cat 3 AIF as well.
Interesting. So, Archit, one of the questions that came up on the chat, and let me take it up a little early before opening up the floor in a while for more Q&A from distributors, is somebody's asking if you have passed 1010 number the NISM 21
So
PMS. Is it still mandatory to pass this new exam?
yes, it is mandatory because the PMS is a separate asset class altogether, and there is no grandfathering clause available, which was there for PMS. And as I mentioned earlier, 5A is the basic certification. You will have to have the 5A, and on top of that, you will need to have the 13 certification for the SI. And just to break down, since people are asking about the 13 exam, the common derivatives exam of NISM, the series 13, is actually a totality of three exams. One is for the equity derivatives, one is for currency derivatives, and one is for your interest rate derivatives, which includes commodities as well. So, in all, what SEBI wants you to ensure is that you at least know that what are these derivative strategies, how do you value them, how will it impact the risk return profile of your investor, okay? How do you account for these strategies as a fund manager? If you don't know that, then you will not be able to tell your clients that is it beneficial to invest in these strategies or not. So the whole idea is to make sure that since SEBI is giving the liberty to HNI investors to increase their exposure towards risky assets like F&O, even the distributor should be aware of these strategies, because ultimately it's the fiduciary duty of the distributor to safeguard the assets of the clients as well.
Thank you, Archit. Archit, one very basic question, and if you would have already like cleared the NISM 13, I'm sure.
Yeah.
If yes, can you just give us a snippet of how was your experience and what were the questions all about? What is it that the regulator is trying to test us for?
So if you ask me, it is not very difficult as what we are hearing in the market for the AIF 19C exams, because that is at a different level only. If you ask me, those exams were like as if you're going a CA exam. But the common exams of derivatives, like your commodity derivatives, they are very much simple. They talk more about the strategies part, because as we know in F&O, we can do different strategies like your straddle, strangle, how to do long, short, long only, right? So the strategies is very much important. We are also seeing some things coming on the taxation part, because you know F&O taxation is the highest slab. It's a maximum marginal rate, right? So we see something on taxation part, how it impacts the NAV of the mutual fund schemes, which will be doing derivatives. So I would say it's not very difficult. The difficulty level would be between the 5A and a 21A. Like the difficulty would be approximately around the 21A exam.
So in short, it's good to take assistance and sort of sit for the exam for better probability of a passing, if I may say so.
Yes, like if I would be having this sort of assistance, then I would definitely take, because it's not just about passing the exam, right? It's about getting something to do practically also in your daily life. Okay, so in fact, what we are assisting our clients, the ones who do our masterclass, I'm sure, I don't know if how many of you all know that you can get an HNI license for your clients known as a credit investor license. If you fall within that license, so just to talk a little bit about that first, okay. SEBI has said that if your clients have a 7.5 crore net worth or a 2 crore profit, okay, then they will be treated as something called as accredited investors. It's the term used in US markets also. Basically, in simple language, they are treated as they are giving a tag of an HNI to these investors. These HNI investors have more freedom in terms of giving lesser amount of money to one scheme. So if you get this license from SEBI, you will not need to invest 10 lakhs in an SIF, 50 lakhs in PMS, or 1 crore in AIF. So I'm seeing not many people know about that, okay, and they don't know that how to get this license for their clients. So we assist all our audience and all our contacts in order to get this certification as well for their clients. I would strongly recommend do this, because instead of doing an investment of 10 lakhs in one scheme, you can select 10 schemes and invest 1 lakh rupees also in that. However, you want to divide the portfolio.
In fact,
That also reduces your risk.
that's a fantastic point, Archit. More and more MFDs I speak to who
Yeah,
ask me like, Alok, how has been your experience on the wealth product side and how do I start my journey? I tell them you yourself should get your own accredited investor tag,
correct.
right? And if not a 1 crore commitment in AIFs, at least start with a 25 lakh commitment and see where it goes. So, that way the whole experience becomes faster and easier. Is that in the right direction? Would you also advise the same?
Of course, I would definitely advise. In fact, the month in which it came out, December 21, the next month I had my father's license in place because I know that I am also a very active investor in AIFs myself and even unlisted equities. There's a huge benefit because now you don't need to commit 1 crore to an AIF fund. Similarly, now since SIF will start launching, you will not need to commit 10 lakhs in one single scheme.
Excellent, Chit. I would be the first one. I don't know why have I missed it myself, but I must reach out to you and seek your help to get this done.
Sure.
Accredited investor, I think that's a very very interesting concept, and you are right. Actually, not many people talk about it so actively, but if done, it could just open up a new doorway altogether for a new category of investors to explore AIF, SIF, whatever, any of the wealth solutions.
Correct. And the long term, it's not just about the reduced amount of investment. You'll also be getting representation on the boards, the investment committees of the funds, if you have a good bargaining power, right? And also, there are other benefits as well that when you want to liquidate your units, you don't need to be within the lock-in period. You can redeem your units before the lock-in or before the tenure as well. So there are certain benefits which you will not get as a normal investor, even though you're investing more than those accredited investors in one single scheme or one single fund, but still you'll not get the benefits which they will get. So I would straight away recommend that first thing you all should do is till the time the SIF schemes come in the market of the current AMCs, like as I was mentioning, ICICI, HDFC, Edelweiss. Till the time they're launched, I suggest that get the license of a credit investor, and also the taxation points will also be very much clear till then because right now the taxation how will the SIF be taxed, that is still not clear. SEBI and income tax department has straight away said that however you tax a mutual fund scheme, same way you'll be taxing SIF as well. Okay, in addition to the tax on F&O contracts, which is at maximum marginal rate. There's no further communication on that front. We are expecting some more clarifications because there are difficulties in accounting and taxation. I believe in the next 1 or 2 months that will also be get clear. So you have a couple of months maximum to get your license and then just hit the market with the right clients.
Excellent. My last question, of course, large part of it you've already answered. Everybody's also asking the same question. They are all very excited about this accredited investor tag. What is the process? What are the criterias? If you can briefly touch upon it. And, I would just ask the audience, how many of you are interested to get it? If yes, just straight away reach out to Archit and initiate the process. Any fees involved? How will you assist? If you can just broadly touch upon it.
Sure. So now you can get a license either as an individual or as a family, right? Or else if your clients are companies, trusts, and LLPs, even you can get a license in the corporate names as well, right? The basic document required is your net worth certificate from a CA, a practicing CA, and obviously your ID proofs like PAN card and your balance sheets, ITR returns of the last 3 years. These are basic documents. For corporates, you need to have your trust deed if it's a trust, LLP deed if it's an LLP, and MOA, AOA, and other board resolutions. So documentation is not very difficult if you ask me. Okay. How to compute the net worth is something which is unique case by case. So, and that is where the fees depends. Like, I don't charge anything as such, but the CAs who will be doing this on our behalf, like we have a team. In fact, I'm also a practicing CA. We are now filling up the application for a lot of my clients as well to NSDL, CDSL, BSc, NSE. These are the four accreditation agencies. And fees normally depends. So, by the way, there's a small application fee which is applicable. I think it's around 5,000 rupees per application of your investor. And the CAs then charge you for the certificate depending on, what is your net worth. Like, it can range between even, let's say, a 15,000 rupee per certificate. It can go all the way to 50,000 rupees also, depending on your net worth, whether it's a corporate, what documents are involved, that.
Understood, Archit. I think that's a very key learning from today's session. And apart from SIF, I'm going to like definitely take that learning forward. So on that note, I'm going to like open the floor so that we can have more Q&A. May I please invite other distributors, other MFD friends who are on the call today to please either unmute or you can even punch in your questions for Archit and he's happy to answer them. आपके जो भी सवाल हैं प्लीज आप चैट बॉक्स पे जाकर या फिर अपने आप को अनम्यूट करके आप पूछ सकते हैं. द फ्लोर इज ओपन.
I've got a question, Alok, that whether the license is for an HNI client investor or for the distributor. So this credit investor license is for the HNI investor who you're serving, right? If you yourself are also investing, then you can also take a license in your name. Distributors don't need this license. The investors will need a license because ultimately they are the beneficiaries of the assets or the unit.
Understood. It's for the end client, basically.
Yes.
So their investments can be done at a little lower ticket size than the required 1 crore, the commitment amount.
Correct. हाँ, और मैं ये भी बोलता हूँ कि ये चांस बाद में नहीं आएगा बिकॉज सेबी हैज बीन वेरी वोकल अबाउट इट और सेबी चाहता है कि जो मिड साइज टिकट साइज है आपके क्लाइंट्स की उनको भी सेम बेनिफिट मिले एज कम्पेयर टू HNI एंड फैमिली ऑफिसेज एंड योर वेल्थ फंड्स ऑल्सो सॉवरेन वेल्थ फंड्स. So this is a good opportunity because the whole understanding behind this license is SEBI has said that because your clients are having a sufficient enough net worth, they have more risk appetite and they should be given the benefit of a higher risk return profile as compared to other retail investors who are investing only savings. तो अगर सेविंग इन्वेस्ट करोगे तो यू कैनॉट रेज द सेविंग्स बट इफ यू आर investing your net worth or assets which are lying idle, then you can have more risk appetite. आप ज्यादा उसमें चाहोगे कि रिटर्न ज्यादा मिले, एटलीस्ट म्यूचुअल फंड से तो ज्यादा मिले. So you looking in that perspective, this is a very good opportunity. The faster you all do it, it is better. क्योंकि all the SIF funds which we are trying to talk to, they are saying that we will launch multiple schemes, not just one scheme. One will be a debt scheme, one will be a long short equity scheme, one will be a hybrid scheme. So you can invest up to 10 lakhs across all the three schemes. You don't need to invest 10 lakhs in only one scheme. So instead of 30 lakhs, it is 10 lakhs anyways. And that 10 lakhs can also become 3 lakhs if you have the license. So obviously you would want to invest 3 lakhs in 10 AMCs like ICICI, HDFC, Edelweiss, etc. So this should be done, I would say, urgently.
Understood, Archit. Some questions coming up in the chat box, while some of it you have already answered. Sir, if you have a net worth in stocks and mutual funds of more than 7 crore, then can you become an accredited investor?
Yes, of course. So 7 crore has to be a total net worth, right? So in fact, it's 7.5 crore. 7.5 crore should be a total net worth, out of which half of them has to be in financial assets.
Got it. That answers, because I was going to get the question whether real estate is also part of this network.
So real estate will be a part of it, but out of your 7.5 crore, 3.5 crore has to be in financial assets like your stocks, mutual fund units, right? So that anyways will be covering it.
Understood. Got it. Who provides
and also, just to add to that, for the Alok, cutting you, in case you are missing your net worth criteria by just a few lakhs, then SEBI has also mentioned that there's a third option. That is, if you have a profit of more than 1 crore plus a net worth of 5 crore, it's plus, not either. 1 crore profit plus a 5 crore net worth. out of the 5 crore, 2.5 crore should be in the form of financial assets. So that's also a third way, which is easier also, if you ask me.
Understood, Archit. One question which I think you already answered, but still, who provides this HNI investor license, the accredited investor license?
Accreditation agencies have been appointed by SEBI. So currently, BSE, NSE, CDSL, NSDL, they are all giving these licenses, right? To have them approached, you will need to get your net worth certificate, as I was mentioning, from a CA. Without that, you will not be able to approach them. They'll straight away ask you for your documents, right? So that is how you should go about it.
Understood. So getting a CA license certificate is the step one. With that, one can probably reach out to you or directly go to one of these websites, and I'm sure the process flow is very clearly mentioned over there.
Correct. Yeah, and as I mentioned, we are also giving these certificates because we are also CAs. So, in case you all have any issues with your balance sheet, you want to get your net worth right, then we can assist you in doing that and clubbing the net worth across different files to reach the landmark of 7.5 crore.
Excellent. Excellent. Any further questions from the audience? NISM Series 5B, Mutual Fund Foundation, and 5C. What is benefit of these?
Sorry. 5C. So these are just basic exams. You will not be able to be eligible to do SIF distribution by clearing these exams. You have to have a 5A, that is mutual fund distribution, plus your 13 for the SIF. 5B and all are basically for IAPs who conduct investor awareness programs and want to get basic knowledge passed on to young investors, women, retired people that way.
Noted. Archit, are you like starting a batch of SIF examination sometime soon? Is that on the cards?
Yes, so in fact, we've already started getting enrollments. Our first batch is on the first weekend of June. So it is a 3-day batch. It's currently a physical batch in Bombay, right? And that is happening on the 6th, 7th, and 8th of June.
Sure.
Right. And it is like we'll do totally 18 hours of learning. There will be some games involved also in between. And we will like to discuss the requirements of the distributors in terms of getting their clients also accredited. So those who are attending the masterclass, we will, assist them as well at a very reasonable fee, right? Uh, yeah,
Any
and
batch for SIF as well getting planned? A lot of people.
this is the SIF batch, which I was saying.
Online batch, virtual batch.
Online, yeah. So the thing is that I understand the distributors are all across the country, and the online we are now trying to have a batch again from end of May, wherein we will be doing only 3 hours per day. So my requirement from you is only 18 hours. In 18 hours, I can prepare you for not only the SIF 13 exam, but also for the 19B of Category 3 AF. I suggest do it both together. Right?
Yeah, makes sense.
So in 18 hours, I'll be able to guide you through both these exams. If you're doing an online program, it'll be 3 hours per day. So it'll be done over 6 days, right? And now the first batch which you're launching is 6 continuous days, 3 hours every day from 5 to 8 p.m. post office hours. So that in 1 week again, you can prepare yourself and then go for the exam directly. I don't believe in wasting too much time. Every week you do 2 hours because then the flow breaks, right? And if you're in the flow, you are very much in the flow. You can just go and give the exam ASAP.
Makes sense. Absolutely. I think very well, logically and very well thought through, Archit.
So online batch which we are launching is in May. That is 18th of May. We'll be launching. So that week of 19th to 24th of May, we'll be done with one online batch as well.
Understood. So 18th May onwards, the online batch, and 6th June onwards, the physical batch.
Perfect.
Super. Any queries which come up, probably we'll figure it out how to handle it. People are asking about fees for both the batches, even if it's not confirmed, some tentative ballpark for people.
For the physical program, we are only charging 5,000 rupees per day. So if you do the entire 3-day program, it's 15,000 rupees. That too, which includes all your food and tea and snacks and everything. So
Fair.
I don't think it's like less than that. It's not even required if you ask me.
So so basically for three knowledge points, accredited investor, knowledge 19B, and
And the SIF,
yeah, and the SIF total is 15,000 all inclusive.
perfect.
Excellent. And for online batch, any range or any indicative fees or
So, for the online batch also to be around this only. In case there's a distributor who wants a specific batch for their company for 50-60 clients, then we may think of giving discounts. But if it's a small batch size, then we will stick to the price of 15,000.
understood, noted, yeah. क्योंकि knowledge चाहे physical format में हो या online में हो, knowledge. All right. Any other questions, friends from the audience? Otherwise, yes.
Alok sir, yeah. So I'll just share my slide. So anybody, if you want to contact further,
Yes.
so they can get in touch with us.
Please
and
do.
Get the other things shared, sir.
100%. Please, for everybody's benefit. I'm sure you will anyway circulate a message all across.
Yes, sir. So this is the mail ID and this is the phone number, and we have put the first offline batch, which we already announced. So 6, 7, 8 timings, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Excellent.
All those have been given. So if anybody wants to get in touch with us, you can write us a mail or you can call up on the number and we can guide you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sajid. Helpful as always. Let it be on the screen for people to make a note, maybe for next 30 seconds. Online version of the exam is, sorry, Archit, you mentioned 15th May, right?
So it is going to be from, I'll just open my calendar again.
Yeah.
Yeah, the online version will be from 19th of May. That is a Monday. So till 18th of May, we are taking the registration. From 19th May onwards, it will be 3 hours per day. That is from 5 to 8 p.m.
Got it. Sajid, maybe, what we could do is we could just fine tune this with Archit and you
Sure.
could announce it to everyone.
Done.
Somebody's asked, what is the basic difference between SIF and AIF?
Sure. So the SIF strategy, so firstly, currently an AMC, which is running a mutual fund scheme, can launch its SIF strategy to do long and short investments and do leverage in equities, debt, etc. And AIF, especially a category 3 AIF, is like a hedge fund, if you see globally, which again does leverage. Basically, when they want to buy some equity shares, they can also do short the future of that same company or short the Nifty 50. So we are having long short strategies in AIFs as well as SIF. The difference majorly is that the ticket size in an AIF is 1 crore. In SIF, it's 10 lakhs. The leverage limits, that means the risk level of the entire fund is up to the NAV of the fund. That means the total exposures in your F&O securities, cash segment, commodity derivatives, interest rate swaps cannot be more than 100% of your NAV. In AIF, it is 2 times your NAV. So because AIFs are more riskier, there is a higher leverage ratio or more freedom given to your clients, that is AIF managers. In SIF, the leverage limits are lower, but having the leverage itself is very good enough for investors with a 10 lakh ticket size. That's the two major differences. Other than that, there are technical differences in terms of taxation, valuation, in terms of debt strategies, in terms of regulations, which we can definitely discuss at length later on.
Sure. I'm sure whoever is signing up for the course would definitely get in deeper insights into all these aspects. All right. I don't think there are any incremental questions. If not, okay, there is one just came up. What about the taxation between the two, between AIF and SIF?
That's a very good question. The taxation for an AIF, there is no pass-through status available, which means that the fund will bear the entire tax, and net of tax, whatever returns the investors will be getting will showcase the IRR. Okay, typically on the F&O front, the taxation is the highest tax slab, that is 42.74%, right? Or 39% depending on structure. For an SIF, they will be taxed the same way as a mutual fund scheme, wherein if you're having capital gains in the fund, you can pass it on to the investors, and the investors will be paying the tax as per their slab rates, right? So the basic difference, if you ask me right now, is the AIF will pay tax on the gains on its own as a representative assessee, and net of tax, the returns are given to the investors. In case of SIF, the investors will have the freedom to pay the tax as per their slab rates. So this is typically very important if you're coming through a gift city or you're coming through foreign countries like Mauritius, Singapore, Delaware, because over there the taxation is almost zero. So you get the benefit of paying a lower tax rate instead of source-based taxation in India.
Noted, Archit. With that, if there are no further questions, I think I'm going to thank Archit. Thank you for making it on this Friday afternoon. We should see you soon, Archit, with the new program.
Sure.
I'm very sure a lot of people may want to join that. Also, I would suggest if those who have joined today can also circulate this message and spread the word around in their circle. And if more number of people would like to join, Archit is more than happy to take them in. Thank you. Thank you, Archit. Thank you so much. Sajid, on that note, final vote of thanks from you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Alok sir, and thank you, Archit, to join here and take out your time actually to give, or you can say impart knowledge on the new product which has come up in the market. Everybody still in a gloomy mood, what is happening and what is going to happen. And thank you for the participants who have joined here. After taking out your time from the busy schedule. Thank you so much. We will be dropping you the message in the group and also updating you regarding all the batches which will be coming in the future. Thank you so much. Thank you, Alok sir. And once again, thank you, Archit, for this good knowledge on SIF.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sajid. Happy to work with everyone and looking forward to distribute the unit so that retail investors don't end up making losses. They can invest in FNO through SIF fund.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Can we get a recording, sir?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we will be putting this in the group. Once the recording is done, it's there. We put.
Thank you.
Yeah.